Welcome to the Urban Advantage Podcast, the official voice of the University of North Texas at Dallas. Here are your hosts, Benjamin Bullock and Greg Campbell. Take it away, guys.
Hello, world, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 4 of the Urban Advantage Podcast presented by the University of North Texas at Dallas. I'm Benjamin Bullock, the Senior Marketing and Communications Coordinator for UNT Dallas, and joining me as my co-host is the owner and CEO of Rainmaker Incorporated, my man, Greg the Man Campbell. What's up, Greg?
Good morning, good day. How you doing, Ben?
Man, I'm waiting for this rain and cold to cease. That's what I'm waiting on.
You know, we're in this funny kind of stage here in Dallas weather. You know, we've reached our annual norm for rainfall by October. We still have several months left to go, and it seems like it's never going to stop raining. You know, I got my parts came in from IKEA for my Ark.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're ready.
Y'all ready?
We're ready.
Man, look, as long as it can just get back to like that 70, that 75, you know what I mean? I'm good, you know, but this 45, gloomy, rainy type thing, nah, I'm good on that.
I look out my window, and every morning when I'm getting ready to go hit the Katy Trail, I'm like, maybe not today. Maybe an inside day, get down onto the gym, lift some weights instead.
I got you. How you been, though?
I'm good. I've been really good. Been doing a little bit of traveling back and forth, getting ready for another trip that's probably going to be back out to Asia, be in Singapore and Hong Kong again in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I got those miles racked up.
Better rack them up.
But things are going very, very well. Been very, very busy. Been working with a number of different companies, raising capital, doing a little advising, and things are coming together pretty well.
That's good. That's good. Well, from my end, you know, just been busy. You know, still teaching my class. Shout out to my UNTD Sports and Entertainment Writing class. Doing really well. The semester's winding down, so you know, I'm doing really good on my end. And in terms of UNT Dallas, we've had a lot of good events on campus. We had a career fair on campus this past week. We had plenty of vendors, FedEx and a couple of accounting companies. So it was really good to see alumni and vendors and everybody come out to just try to get their careers off on the right path.
That's really good. Coming up again, remember, November 6th is voting day. And as we have said in previous podcasts, if you don't participate, you can't protest. So if you're going to protest, you got to participate.
Hey, man, this will be my first time voting as a Texas resident. I'm all ready to go. I'm ready to roll. So when November 6th hits, I'll be right there at them polls, man. You know what I mean?
And please take the time to understand your vote. It's not like just pulling a lever for any particular party. Spend your time, investigate and understand what the candidates stand for, and vote your interests. You know, even as a student here on campus, there are many, many things that will impact you from this election. So please take the time, understand what the candidates stand for, and then vote your interest.
Absolutely. And then, too, just kind of along the lines of that, we've also had UNT Dallas, we had a voter registration drive that was awesome back in September. You know what I mean? We had record numbers come out, and it was an awesome time. And in terms of some other events that's been happening on campus, we had the Veteran Success Department hosting Mission 22 Challenge to raise awareness for suicide. So shout out to Ms. Mareka Gray. She's the Assistant Director of Veteran Services at UNT Dallas. Plenty of students came out to do their 22 push-ups, their 22 pull-ups in remembrance of those who lost their lives due to suicidal things and from being in the military and across the country as well.
You know, many people don't realize how prevalent suicide is among the veteran community here in the United States. And it has impacted the Dallas community in a big way. We have veterans who are showing up in emergency rooms, people who are showing up and saying that they're in distress. And unfortunately, many times that distress turns into a loneliness and a feeling of nowhere to turn, and suicide turns up. 22 veterans a day being lost.
Wow. Yeah.
That's where the magic of that 22 comes from, and I applaud everyone who's trying to do something about it.
Yeah, so big shout out to Ms. Gray and her team and everything like that on, you know, chipping in and try to raise awareness for that aspect. So, well, for our first-time listeners, the purpose of this podcast is to identify and keep you updated on what's happening in Southern Dallas and at UNT Dallas. Ranging from education to economic development to community relations to entertainment, we'll have it all for you right here.
Be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Urban ADV Podcast, and by using the hashtag Urban ADV Podcast.
And Greg, what's your social media handle so you can get your followers up and your likes up, man?
Mine is real simple. As I say, I am Greg Campbell.
And what's mine, Greg?
Jive. That's what I'm just saying. It is just jive. You don't have to put in anything else, audience. You just put in jive.
I may pop up, but for real though, it's Ben Bull Jive. You can follow me on all across the social media platforms, and just go ahead and check me out, man. You can also subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Coming up next, our special guests Terrence and Tim Maiden will join the show. Stay tuned as they tell us about their Two Wins nonprofit organization and what new businesses are making their way to Southern Dallas. That and a whole lot more when we return.
Perched on a hilltop overlooking the downtown Dallas skyline, the University of North Texas at Dallas is the only public four-year university in the city of Dallas. Serving the #1 job market in America, UNT Dallas is ranked #1 in Texas and #6 nationally as the most affordable university. We as Trailblazers believe that every student should have the opportunity to earn a college degree regardless of their economic background, and we deliver. For more information, visit untdallas.edu. Blaze your trail. Welcome back to the Urban Advantage Podcast, the official voice of the University of North Texas at Dallas. Here are your hosts, Benjamin Bullock and Greg Campbell. Take it away, guys.
Welcome back, everyone. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Urban ADV Podcast, and subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Today, we're excited to have Tim and Terrence Maiden as our special guests. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Thanks for having us.
Guys, you were born and bred out of Dallas. Tell our listeners a little bit about your background and how you became so successful.
Well, Tim and I, we grew up in Oak Cliff, attended David W. Carter High School.
Carter Cowboys.
Carter Cowboys, Carter Pride. We were very fortunate enough to earn football scholarships to Texas Christian University, but Tim got into the banking industry after graduating from TCU, and I got into the real estate development industry, so Tim could share a little bit more about his career path.
Yeah, so like Terrence mentioned, was fortunate enough to go to TCU, earned my graduate studies there, and started at Frost Bank in Fort Worth. I always had a desire to build out my professional career in the southern sector of Dallas. That's kind of like home. All our family and friends is in the community, and so we wanted to feel a part of that collaboration and community. And so worked at a short stint at a bank in DeSoto, and then finally Frost Bank called me back. They was making an entrance into the southern sector of Dallas. It was a great opportunity for me to reunite with a bank that really is committed to making a difference and an impact within the southern sector of Dallas, and to provide some leadership within the community.
Tim, tell our students just for a moment, because you got into this field of banking. What made banking your choice?
Well, really, when I first got out of school, I thought about coaching, and then we was in school for about one semester and realized, I don't know if that's my true vocation in life. Teaching, and you got to teach in order to coach. Yeah. And so Terrence and I went to the provost and the chancellor and the athletic director of the university, and just kind of doing some assessment of what my interests were, and really about helping people and building people up. And I always had an interest in business, and they thought, hey, have you considered banking? And so I didn't at that moment, and so was afforded an opportunity by Frost Bank to come in at ground level to really try to understand how companies operate and function, and how do you deploy capital to help companies become more sustainable. And so just really piqued my interest, and I really been enjoying it. So I've been in it for about 18 years.
And it must be really special to be able to do that in the southern sector.
Yes, it's very gratifying. You see companies that have the knowledge, sometimes don't have the resources, and so for you to kind of supplement vision with resources and capital is very rewarding to be a part of it and see just the maturation of companies that they continue to grow.
So Terrence, your career followed a different path into real estate.
So it's slightly different. I went into commercial real estate development, and it's kind of hard to imagine. I've been in the industry for about 20 years now. But started out with a small company out of Fort Worth called Omni, and then matriculated to Woodmont Company, and now with Corinne Properties. And we're Dallas based and focusing on a lot of projects in the southern half of the city. And one project that's near and dear to my heart in particular is the redevelopment of the old Southwest Center Mall.
Which is right down the street from us.
Right down the street. So bringing Redbird back even stronger. Some really exciting things happening along that corridor that we're really thrilled about.
Now, no, go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I was just going to say the first time I met y'all, I think it was when I first got here, it was like February. And I think it was you noticed the wristband that I had on. He said, "Hey, man, you a Q out here?" I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit out here." And I said, "You know what? Right year, wrong frat with y'all, you know what I mean?" So,
Everybody make bad decisions. You're entitled to one, right?
hey, man, legacy, I had no other choice, man. You know what I mean? So when we first met, you guys were telling me about the Elevate thing that y'all had going on. So just tell me more about how Two Wins and Elevate kind of happened.
Or even first, tell us what Two Wins is.
Yeah, sure. So Two Wins is a nonprofit Tim and I established in 2005, and it was really a way for us to have, as Tim mentioned before, that community outreach aspect. That's something that our family is really passionate about, giving back to the communities that has poured so much into us. And it has been just one of the most rewarding experiences of our lives, really, is to leverage the foundation, if you will, to touch so many people's lives, in particular in the southern half of the city. And Elevate was actually the brainchild of President Mung at UNT Dallas, and he has a heart for young men in the southern sector and really wanted to choose college as an option. And so he aligned with our organization, and we came up with a project called Elevate that this would be our third year coming into, and Tim can share a little bit more about Elevate.
Yeah, like Terrence mentioned, so, we established a foundation in 2005 with the premise of really trying to uplift community. Mm-hmm. And we really wanted to, as we began to dig a little bit deeper into our mission and purpose of the foundation, we really wanted to target young men, particularly young men of color. And so it kind of, when we visited with President Mung about his interests, just kind of looking at certain stats about the attrition of African-American males going to school and kind of falling out of college and the lack of interest in it, we thought that Elevate would be a great platform for us to, kind of encourage them at a younger age to get comfortable with the college environment. And so Elevate is a 1 week intensive. We bring them on campus, high school students from.
So they're here on UNT Dallas's campus?
On UNT Dallas
They
campus
stayed on the dorm this year.
in the dorms. So they get the full college experience. They did a little golf. It's an entrepreneurship program, so that's one of the things that we're really trying to focus on, building up future business leaders, community leaders. And so it was the first year we had about 30, and then we increased it to about 45. And so we got high aspiration for the whole Elevate mission and program, and really good corporate sponsors, community sponsors to buy into the whole vision of Elevate.
What was it like to have Josh Howard come out and talk to the guys?
It was a good treat for the young men that were attending, and a good surprise. But I think what was most impactful is that his story really resonated with them, and they were really attentive and could relate to a lot of things that he was sharing. And so that was a very positive aspect of the academy this year. And other exciting things that the students were able to participate in. I mean, we were teaching anything from how to tie a tie to having proper dinner etiquettes. So all those life skills that they can take along with them throughout their lives.
How do you think this experience impacted these 45 young men and their families?
I think it's twofold. We often share this story. As we mentioned, they resided in the dorms, and so one particular night, 3 gentlemen, they just went into the same dorm room. The typical college experience, but these high schoolers, and they stayed up to about 3, just sharing very personal stories. One of the students' mother was battling cancer. The other one, dad was in prison, and so it was a time for them to open up and become real transparent. And those are kind of defining moments that they're going to remember for the rest of their life. And so just to plant that seed, and then to have other guys around them to uplift and encourage them, those are elements from the program that comes more than just how do you tie a tie? What fork do you eat first in a dining setting? So those are really important things.
Now, you guys kind of we're talking about college here. So what was it like to play college football at TCU? That's D1 football. That ain't too bad.
Yeah, you know what? When we first got to TCU, we had a rough start. I mean, it was pretty bad. We were 1-10 our freshman year, and so I was scratching my head about the decision. But we had a new head coach to come in, and Dennis Francione, and it really brought a new vision and a new look to the athletic program, in particular the football program.
Now, what position did you play?
I played linebacker, this is Terrence, and Tim played wide receiver.
Oh, so that's two totally different ends of the spectrum right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny. I think our personalities align the same. Like linebacker.
You just want to hit somebody. You want to go get the ball.
I'm aggressive.
I'm always open.
I'm more calculated and smooth.
Yeah. So you ain't the diva though. You ain't the diva. Good. That's good.
Yeah, but it was an extraordinary experience. We were able to play in a few bowl games and win a couple of conference championships, and it means a lot that we played a role in really turning the football program around at TCU and seeing all the success the program has been having over the years. It's been really gratifying.
So TCU's had a few stars come out of that university.
Yeah, we I think that's the one thing that Coach Patterson has done a good job with recruiting, and also recruiting locally. We're really excited about the future of Sean Robinson. He's a quarterback from DeSoto that I think has a really bright future, and so some really exciting things. But yeah, a lot of good players. We played with LaDainian Tomlinson, and Andy Dalton is doing pretty well with the Cincinnati Bengals. So really good athletes coming out of the program.
So what was it like in practice? You know what I mean? When y'all scrimmaged against each other, the ones against ones, and or how it was or whatever.
Well, it was. So we see a program, and that's, I think, a lot of this we take with us. We come into a program where the facilities wasn't really up to par. We had to walk almost a mile just to go to practice.
Wow.
About a half a mile block.
They call that training.
Yeah, they call that training.
Load you up with equipment. They tell you go take a run. Go try it out.
Right, exactly. The TCU mile. So, but yeah, it's pretty competitive. You see different athletes coming in, and you see the level of competition as it continue to grow, and you just see the program evolve over time. And you saw some players for us being recruited and coming up and really making an impact. And so we could tell that Dennis Francione and Coach Patterson was going to really turn this program into something special and unique, and we were glad to be just to witness it.
Talk to us a little bit about the role athletics has had in your life and how it translated into your business lives.
Good question.
I think we're still seeing the effects of it. I think early on in my career personally, just the time commitment, being willing to put in the extra effort. It helped with time management, discipline, working in the team environment.
Y'all didn't have no lives.
Yeah, all those things were critical, especially starting out in the commercial real estate industry for me. Just because there is so much adversity, being a young man, an African American young man getting into the industry is very tough and trying. But I think that perseverance that I displayed on the football field translated over into my work ethics too in business. So it's been real helpful.
Now, y'all went to Dallas Carter, and obviously they're pretty popular based off the movie, the 30 for 30 movie that was done. Maybe was it last year, 2 years ago? I think that's what it was.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So I don't know. We kind of talked about it. Did y'all have something to do with that film, or did y'all were involved in that at all?
No, I think they did a good job depicting, some of that era at Carter High, and it was we were in middle school, well, actually elementary at the time, but we remember everything from the movie because we used to go to all the games, and they did a good job conveying the story. Now, hopefully, that message will inspire or touch and impact other young athletes that are watching about making the right decisions along the way, especially in high school.
So, what do y'all like to do for fun, man?
We enjoy hanging out with each other and our families.
Yeah.
We like to travel. We've been traveling together a lot more recently, so that's been good. And also traveling with my dad and stepmom. Just creating memories. We like to read. We like to collaborate on different things. We have this entrepreneurial spirit, that we want to try to impact and make a difference and leave something that's sustainable And so that keeps us up, you know, and that's a motivating and driving factor in our lives.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add, we're trying to pick up golf, and it's awful right now. It's bad.
Let me just tell you, after years of trying to pick up golf, it's terrible. It's just terrible. So, you know, one of the things that I find that's really unique about both of you is that you both share a vision for Southern Dallas. You know, that's not by happenstance that you're both deeply involved through your careers in the development of Southern Dallas. Let's talk for a moment about what your vision is for Southern Dallas.
You know, Southern Dallas is so vast, and I think there's a lot of opportunities, and, you know, it's a part of a large city of Dallas, but it's kind of felt like we've been isolated for so many years, and we're excited to be involved in a number of different projects to revitalize areas and to be a voice really for a community that I think has not had the amenities as other communities has, and also to try to inspire and uplift in creative ways. And that's why, you know, I'm really excited about my involvement personally with Redbird, because we're starting with the community first and making sure that as we look at different things with the redevelopment, that we have the community in mind first, and something that's more sustainable and it's kind of building up the community and not just putting things in the community.
Starting with that Starbucks on Cam Wisdom.
Starbucks, yeah.
Tim, what about you?
You know, it's a couple things. I think quality. You know, I think when we grew up in Oak Cliff, it was really family, really community. The amenities, the mall, it was top level, and people looked up to it, aspired, like, man, Redbird, you know, sense of belonging. And we've been, the community's been, you know, for us, leadership of Dallas have kind of neglected Southern sector, and we're reaping that, or suffering because of that neglect. But I do think the vision is to uplift the community. I think it starts with what we're doing with young guys, buying into the vision, letting them see an example of how do you reinvest in the community that you love. Because if we don't invest in the future, then we won't, it's be recurring over and over again. So we have to let people see the opportunity and the possibility of what a community could be, and also giving them insight of how do you make an impact on it as well. So,
Terrence, you mentioned Redbird, Redbird Mall. Tell us specifically what's happening and what you see happening in the next couple of years with this development.
Yeah, so the first thing that has come up was what we're excited about is Starbucks open next month. Everybody's been waiting for Starbucks to finally open, and so that's going to be the first to many things that are happening. But also the city of Dallas approved a $22 million grant and incentive package. So that's going to really give us the capital that we need to start with redeveloping the site. And there's a lot of exciting announcements that we'll be making here recently, but the Dallas Entrepreneur Center is open now. It looks amazing. Jarvis Christian College is opening up. We're having extensive conversations with a number of different retailers and office users, the community college districts, and a number of other entities. So exciting time for Redbird. Peter Brodsky acquired the mall a couple of years ago and has really been committed to providing these amenities to the community. So it's a great partnership, great vision, and great plan.
Now, I guess my question for you is, you know, what advice would you give to those who are trying to follow in your footsteps? They're kind of on the borderline in terms of entrepreneurship, banking, and everything, or real estate. You know, what would you say to them?
You know, first thing I would think is to find a good mentor. And I think to read as well. Sometimes one thing that's the beauty about entrepreneurship, that's been successful, is, you know, obviously you want to promote college and learning, but those are just enhanced. But you think about leadership quality, a drive, sacrifice, things that really, when you see people that are really successful, it's those intangibles. Outside of education that really push them, they see themselves in a different position. So I would say, you know, find someone that you kind of can mentor you. I think too is find something that you're really passionate about, that you wake up every day hungry, trying to make a difference. And those are two components that I think is really fundamental for us, you know, gaining or garnering that kind of success.
Yeah, for me, I would say be willing to run fast and while being patient. You know, it's you have to burn the midnight oil. Be willing to sacrifice, put in the extra work, find, not be afraid to make mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes, but how you rebound and how you can quickly rebound sometimes determine your trajectory in business. And so, there's not one path that works. I encourage people to chart their own path, find your passion as quick as possible and study it until you can't study it no more, and then I think life has a way of everything to fall in place if you continue just to do the right things, work hard, and stay focused.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of people, they get so close and then they give up because it's not happening as quickly as they anticipate. It happened with all of us. The people that are truly, truly successful have this enduring perseverance kind of factor that, hey, even though the odds may be against me, I'm gonna fight through it.
Right.
And so
That's the right spirit to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. Before we let y'all go, tell our listeners how they can follow you guys on social media and how they can contribute to Rise and Two Wins.
Yeah. So Two Wins is our social media handle is just Two Wins, TWOWINS, and our website is www.twowins.org. And one other thing I'll mention, I suggest people just kind of follow us now because this time of year we're going to be busy with a number of charitable events that we'll love for the community to come out and support. And Tim, you can give the Rise.
I give you Rise. Rise is riseclothing.com, and Shop Rise is our social media handle. Yeah. Shop Rise Clothing.
Well, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all did a great job. Greg, you got anything to add, man, before these guys go?
Just that I'm impressed by, first of all, your bios and your commitment to the Southern sector. You are, through your lives, you're making a difference. Through your businesses, you're contributing to the uplifting of this whole community. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Coming up with the Dallas Mavericks and NBA back in action, you'll get our takes on the upcoming season and more. You're listening to the Urban Advantage Podcast, the official voice of Southern Dallas and the University of North Texas at Dallas. Stay tuned, y'all.
Attention UNT Dallas students. Does your resume need tweaking? Or are you in search of an internship? Better yet, are you looking to start a business? Well, our Career Services Department is where you need to be. Under the direction of Arthur Lumsey Jr. and Whitney Crawford, this department provides career tips and guidance to get your professional journey on the right path. For more information, stop by room 246 in Founders Hall or send an email to careerservices@untdallas.edu. And remember, everyone, blaze your trail. Welcome back to the Urban Advantage Podcast, the official voice of the University of North Texas at Dallas. Here are your hosts, Benjamin Bullock and Greg Campbell.
Welcome back,
Take it away,
everyone,
guys.
for our last segment. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Urban ADV Podcast and join the conversation. Greg, the NBA's back. Mavs are back in action.
Finally, been waiting all summer long. I understand baseball, and I played baseball, so I'm really into it. I understand football, and I'm going to be out there for my Cowboys. But finally, the Mavericks and the NBA have come back to life. It's about time.
Man, look, I'm excited, man. The season kicked off this past week, and LeBron opened up with the Lakers against Portland on Thursday night, and he had a really crazy sequence for his first couple of points. He had a breakaway tomahawk jam, signature dunk, and then
What did he do? 18 points in 16 minutes? It was something crazy.
I think he had something crazy like that. I think he finished with about close to 30 points, I believe. I don't know off the top of my head, but he had a really good game, even though the Lakers lost to Portland. The Mavs unfortunately lost to Phoenix to start the season, but I really see some good things on the uprising for them.
You got Luka fever yet?
I like Luka, man.
I'm trying to figure out what position he actually plays. Is he
he's just a hooper.
Is he a guard? Is he a
Positionless.
forward?
He just know how to
he's
hoop.
guarding people. He is, he's out there doing his thing.
I like Luka, man. And he went against DeAndre Ayton, against the Phoenix Suns for the first game of the season. Obviously, those were pretty top picks in the draft with Ayton going number 1, so that was really good to see. Now, Greg, you grew up in the Mecca.
You got it right.
NYC.
Home
of basketball.
That's where that's the Garden, man.
That's the Garden, man.
Now,
What was it like growing up, man, back then?
Well, being able to walk over to the Garden and see DeBusschere and see Walt, Frazier play,
That's great,
and
man.
all those great players
Yeah.
in that era was just amazing. But that was sort of the professional game. Part of the other excitement about growing up in New York was being able to go to the Rucker and go to Springfield Gardens Park
Entertainers Basketball Classic.
and watch the neighborhood players come out and play with the NBA players. Because summertime, it was just about balling.
Hey, man, I mean, I know just being a basketball junkie myself, man, pretty much my entire life. I remember I used to buy these DVDs at EBC, Entertainers Basketball Classic tournament DVDs, man. So they would just talk about like all the NBA players who come out and just play against, the street legends, man. And, it was great to see, man. They actually gave the NBA players a lot of competition, man. And so, for me, that was just great to see.
Sometimes the NBA players couldn't even get Knicks. They weren't even selected because they were better neighborhood players, standing outside ready to get on the court and play some ball.
Yeah, and what makes the difference between, the playground legends and NBA guys is that, it's decision making. You know what I mean? Like, you can either go this way or that way. And some guys, they just, unfortunately, don't make the right decisions, and they kind of just stay in that realm of being a basketball street legend. Well, if you go to the NBA, that means you may have some good people around you, and you made some really good decisions.
That was really highlighted in that movie, Uncle Drew, if you caught that. Because it told the story of what really park ball was really like and the decisions that people made that kept them out of the NBA.
Absolutely. And then me just being around basketball my entire life. My dad, he was an all-state point guard in Kansas. He's actually a Hall of Fame inductee about 10 years ago, so shout out to my dad. He went on to play University of Alaska Anchorage. For those real basketball heads, you guys remember the Great Alaskan Shootout, where Duke and NC State and a lot of those big teams used to go up to Alaska and play. My dad actually has a photo of him guarding Spud Webb back in the 80s. My dad, in the 80s, they used to wear those short shorts, you know what I mean? So, it's funny to see my dad.
Those booty huggers?
Yeah, exactly. So, just for me, man, basketball is just such an amazing sport. It brings a lot of people together. And, the city of Dallas, obviously you have the Mavs, but it's a lot of great local talent in terms of on the prep level. You know what I mean? I know Trae Young, who played for Oklahoma last year and also plays for Atlanta right now. He's from the area, so it's just a lot of guys. Even Julius Randle, who played for the Lakers, went to Kentucky. He's playing for the New Orleans Pelicans now. He's from Dallas.
Did you see him hoop the other night?
I did. They destroyed the Rockets.
Serious?
Destroyed the Rockets. They destroyed the Rockets. Even LaMarcus Aldridge, he's from Seagoville. So DFW is full of talent, just rich in football and basketball, so many other different sports, and I'm just happy to have the season back. And I like the Mavs, man. I mean, they brought Devin Harris back. Obviously, they still have J.J. Barea, Luka Doncic, Dirk, who's out for the first couple of weeks due to some offseason surgery, but they also have DeAndre Jordan, who kind of finessed him a couple of years ago. When he
Funny
was
how those things work out.
Crazy. So really, his heart was really in Dallas. He just got finessed by, Doc Rivers, Blake, and Chris Paul. And the only one left from that Clipper team when he was there, coaching-wise, is Doc. And obviously CP3 and Blake have moved on to different places.
Yeah. Well, fabulous season to look forward to. I'm just so excited about basketball on almost every night of the week now.
Hey, man, look, this premiere week, I think it was games on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, probably Saturday. And make sure you get y'all league pass, man. I ain't got the league pass yet, but I'm probably going to add it here soon, though.
I'll come over your house.
And I'm also come to the Mavs games with you.
That sounds good. I'm a season ticket holder, proud season ticket holder for many, many years. So I'm looking forward to spending some time with the Mavericks.
That's great, man. Well, that'll do it for this week's show. For Benjamin Bullock and Greg Campbell, thank you for listening to the Urban Advantage Podcast, the official voice of Southern Dallas and the University of North Texas at Dallas. And remember, everyone, blaze your trail.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Urban Advantage Podcast, the official voice of the University of North Texas at Dallas. To learn more about the university, head to untdallas.edu. And remember, blaze your trail.